Very good morning to all of you, my friends. Welcome back. So, in the previous session, we started with cost sheet. So, let me give you a brief about what all we discussed in the previous session. When talking about cost sheet is a statement wherein we systematically record all the costs that are related to manufacture a product. Further, costs can be divided in two parts, that is direct cost and indirect cost. Direct cost, the cost that is directly attributable in manufacturing a product is direct cost, and indirect cost, the cost that play a supporting role in manufacturing a product is indirect cost. Direct cost covers direct material, direct labor, and direct expenses. Indirect cost cover indirect material, indirect labor, and indirect expenses. Further, when talking about indirect costs, these indirect costs are basically incurred at three levels, that is factory, admin or office, and selling and distribution level. So we have to bifurcate all the overheads, or we can say all the indirect cost, in three parts, that is factory, admin, and selling and distribution. Thereafter, we started with the format of cost sheet wherein it starts with opening stock of raw material. We do add purchase of raw material and we subtract closing stock of raw material. This is how we will get raw material consumed. In this, we will add all the direct labor and direct expenses. We will get the total, that is prime cost. In prime cost, we will add all the factory overheads. We will get gross work cost. In gross work cost, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. We will get the work cost or factory cost. In work cost and factory cost, we have to make few adjustments. That is, first, quality control cost, research and development cost. Thereafter, administration overhead related to production. We will add primary packing cost, and we will subtract credit for recoveries. This is how we will get cost of production. And in cost of production, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. We will get the cost of goods sold. In this, we will add again all the admin, that is general administration overhead, selling overhead, and distribution overhead. We will get cost of sales. So this is the final cost of product. Now, there are certain items that are to be ignored while preparing cost sheet, wherein it was bad debts, discount on sales, provisions, transfer to reserves, profit or loss on sale of assets or investments, assets of or investment if it is given, or we can say purchase of assets or sale of assets. And apart from this, any abnormal costs, penalties, fines, damages, whatever it is. So these were the few items that are not to be considered. Yes, apart from this, the income tax also. So these are the few items that we have to ignore while preparing cost sheet. Thereafter, we discussed one question. So let's start with few more questions. I hope you guys are thorough with the concepts, what I have discussed till now. The conceptual part is over. We are just discussing few more questions. So let's start with few more questions. I request you guys to open your study material. In the last session, we discussed illustration number 1. So let's start with illustration number 2. It's a very easy question just for revision what we have discussed till now. Illustration number 2, page number 6.12. I request you guys to open illustration number 2, page number 6.12. So the following information has been obtained from the records of ABC Corporation for the period 1st June to 30th June. The details are given as regards cost of raw material, that is opening and closing stock of raw material. The same goes with work in progress and finished goods. Purchase of raw material is given, wages paid is given, factory overheads are given, administration overhead related to production is given, selling and distribution overheads are given, and the sales is given. You are required to prepare a statement giving the following information, that is the raw material consumed, prime cost, factory cost, cost of goods sold, and net profit. So let's start. in cost sheet, the point is the first and the foremost thing that is important is basically the format. So you should be well aware and thorough with the format while solving cost sheet. Apart from this, you have to keep in mind that what all overheads goes under factory, what all overheads will go under office, and what all overheads will go under selling and distribution. So anyways, guys, let's start. So opening stock of raw material is given 60,000 and the purchase value is given, that is 4,80,000. Closing stock is given, that is 50,000. So we will get raw material consumed. When talking about direct wages, we have the figure of direct wages, that is 2,40,000. Direct expenses, no information is given. In this, we will add all the factory overheads. That is 1 lakh. So we'll get the gross factory cost. That is 8,30,000. In this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. So opening and closing work in progress is given, that is 12,000 and 15,000. We'll get the factory oblique work cost. In this, we will add few items. So let's see the any. Okay, so the details are given straight away for administration overhead related to production. that is 50,000. So we will get cost of production 8,77,000. Now, after calculating the cost of production, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. $90 and $110. This we will get the cost of goods sold. In this, we will add all the general administration overhead, selling and distribution overhead. So information is given in the question as regards only selling and distribution overhead. So we will add all the selling and distribution overhead, that is 25,000. So we will get the cost of sales. Now we have the sales and the cost of sales. We will get profit. So the sales value we have is 10 lakh. The cost of sales we have already calculated, that is 8,82,000. So we'll get the profit, that is 1,18,000. So the chapter is easy. The point is you should be thorough with the concepts. That's it. Very good, everyone. Anyone having any doubts or queries? Anyone with any doubts or queries? The solution is there in the study material. Very good, Prajyot. So let's start with few practical questions also. I request you guys to please open practical question number 2. So let's start with practical question number 2. One second. So from the following particulars, you are required to prepare the monthly cost sheet of Aditya Industries, wherein opening stock is given related to raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. So opening stock is given for raw material, work in progress, and finished goods. Closing stock is given for raw material, work in progress, but no information is given as regards finished goods. So we will calculate the closing stock of finished goods. And as I said, the closing stock of finished goods is valued at cost of production. Raw material purchase, it will go under prime cost, GST paid on raw material purchase, input tax credit available. So neither to add nor to subtract, better ignore it. Wages paid to production worker, again it will go under prime cost. Expenses paid for utilities, it is a direct expense. Office and administration expenses paid, traveling allowance paid to office staff, and selling expenses. Machine hours worked are given 21,600. Machine hour rate is given, that is 8 rupees per hour. Unit sold is given. Unit produced is given. And the desired profit is given, that is 15% of sales. And we are required to prepare the monthly cost sheet. So let's start with practical question number 2. So let's start. How many units were manufactured? 1,94,000. So it starts with opening stock of raw material. That is 12 lakh. We will add the purchase of raw material also. One crore 44 lakh. Will subtract closing stock. That is 14 lakh. So this will be 1 crore 42 lakh. We can prepare the per unit part also. So 1 crore 42 lakh is the cost of material divided by the units manufactured, that is 1,94,000. So this will be 73.196. Thereafter, we will add all the direct wages. that is 36,64,000. So this will be 18 point. Cost of utilities, again, expenses paid for utilities. It's a part of direct expenses. So it is 1,45,600. So this is all what about all the direct expenses. So we will get the total, that is prime cost, 1 crore 42 lakh. So 1800,9600. Let me check if there are any queries. Very good, Shamli. Very good morning, Meenu. And it's correct. 1 second. ITC. See, Meenu Kumari, when talking about input tax credit is available. So if we are paying the duty and the duty credit is available, so no need to add and subtract. Better it is to be ignored. But if the duty credit is not available, then we need to add the duty paid on inputs or purchase of raw material. Sorry. Now in this, so we have got the prime cost. Now we will add all the factory overheads. When talking about the calculation of factory overheads, it is given machine hours worked 21,600 and machine hour rate is 8 rupees per hour. $172,800 divided by 1,94,000. So 0.891. So we'll get the gross factory or work cost. Now in this we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. 18 lakh and 16 lakh 4,000. So this will be the factory oblique work cost. Now in this, we will make adjustments of few items. So let's see any information is given as regards these items. So office and administration expenses paid, traveling expenses paid to office staff, selling expenses are given. So no information is given regarding the quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, and primary packing cost. So the final value herein we will be getting is basically straight away the cost of production only. So this will be my cost of production. Anyone having any doubts? Yes, Shamli, but again, the details are not given as regards the few items. So directly it will be the cost of production. Very good, Prajyot. So now let's proceed further. In this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. Sorry, finished goods. So add opening stock of finished goods and subtract when talking about opening stock of finished goods, it is given straight away in the question, that is 9,60,000. However, the value of closing stock is not given. Value of closing stock is not given. And when talking about units also, see, no information is given as regards the units. So see guys, opening stock is given, that is 10,000 units. Units manufactured is 1,94,000 units. And the units sold is given. Units sold is given, that is 1,60,000. So therefore, my finished stock will be how much? So 10,000 units we have, 1,94,000 we manufactured. Of this, 1,60,000 we sold. So we are left out with 44,000 units only. Opening stock, add units manufactured minus units sold, we will get the finished stock, that is 44,000 units. Anyone having any doubts? Very good, Meenu. Very good, Shamli. So 44,000 units we have into the rate that is 94.739. So 4168, 4 lakh 6, 41 lakh 68, 296. See, this is how we will get the cost of goods sold. So this is how we will calculate the cost of goods sold. Anyone having any doubts? Very good, everyone. Now see, very important, guys. Till here, we were talking about units manufactured. After making adjustments, see here it is what? Cost of goods sold. That is the cost of the units that are actually sold. So from here and onwards, for per unit calculation, it will be units sold. From here and onwards, it will be units sold. So divided by units sold, that is 1,60,000. So from here and onwards, to calculate per unit, so after making adjustments of opening and closing stock, we get the units sold. So for per unit calculation from here and onwards, units sold will be important. So we are done with the cost of goods sold. So now let's proceed further with for calculating the cost of sales. So we have office and administration expenses, traveling allowance, and selling expenses. So often office and administration expenses are 2652. This is 1,21,000 and 6,46,000. So we'll get the total, that is cost of sales. So anyone having any doubts? It's up to you. We can take 2 decimals or 3 decimals. It's up to you. Both the approaches are correct. So we are done with the calculation of cost of sales. Now the question is asking, question has given the details regarding the sales also. So desired profit is 15% of sales. Statement of profit, wherein the sales is what? How much? The profit is 15% on sales. So sales, cost of sales will get the profit. So if the profit is 15% of sales, so the cost will be 85% of the total sales. So 1858. So basically 1 crore 85 lakh. So this is the way you guys have to solve the question. If anyone having any doubts or queries, you guys can please post. The chapter is easy. The point is you should be thorough with the statement, and plus you should be aware about that what all expenditures will go under what all heads. That's it. Anyone with any doubts or queries? Yeah, that's okay. There can be a rounding off difference in the solution. So that's okay, Hina. Miss Harsh Kaur's her statement of profit. So see, herein the cost of sales we have calculated, that is 1 crore 85 lakh 89,104. Now profit is how much? 15% of sales. If the profit is 15% of sales, it means, see, profit on sales is given. That is 15%. So here in sales is given, so assume sales as 100. Profit we have is 15. So my cost will be how much? 85. So we have the cost that is equals to how much? 85. So this cost is equals to 85. So we have to calculate 100. So divided by 85%, or we can alternatively say divided by 85 into 100. So in short, cost जिसके बराबर होता है, we have to place it in the denominator, and what we want to calculate, we have to place it in the numerator. No, it's not advisable, Mustafa. See, the point is when you will solve 5-6 questions, you'll be well aware about the format. So no need to write first the entire format in exams. Better read the question carefully. Just try to identify that what all cost will go where. That is, what all expenses will go under prime cost, factory cost, administration overhead related to production, etc., etc., and selling and distribution overheads. So try to identify and then start writing the solution, because in certain cases many expenses are not given. So we directly calculate cost of production or cost of goods sold, whatever it is. So no need to write the format as. So read the question, just frame a rough picture that this is what how I have to prepare the solution, and then go ahead. I'm not getting, Minu, what you are saying. So if it is profit on cost, then cost will be 100, profit will be 15, and sales will be 115. Again, very important. Till the cost of production, till the cost of production, units manufactured are important. And from cost of goods sold onwards, units sold are important for calculating the per unit cost. Anyways, those who want to copy it, you guys can copy, giving you 2 minutes time. The solution is there in the study material. So those who want to copy the working can please copy, because this part is the key. Generally, the students, this is the only mistake what students do in exams, in cost sheet specifically, while calculating per unit. So from here till here, it will be units manufactured. See, it is given cost of production. So units produced. This is cost of goods sold. It means units sold. So cost of production में जितने units produce किए, and from cost of goods sold and onwards जितने units आपने sell किए. Let's start with practical question number 3. I request you guys to please open your study material, practical question number 3. Page number is 6.24. So a limited company has capacity to produce 1 lakh units of a product every month. Its work cost at varying level of production is as under. So herein the various levels are given, that is 10, 20 till 100. And at various levels, the work cost is given, that is the factory cost is given. Now, its fixed administration expenses amounts to 1,50,000 and fixed marketing expenses amounts to 2,50,000 per month. So the details are given for administration and marketing expenses. The variable distribution cost amounts to rupees 30 per unit. It can sell 100% of its output at 500 per unit, provided it incurs the following expenditures. So the company can sell 100% of its output for 500 if he incurs the additional expenses. That is A point. It gives a gift item costing rupees 30 per unit of sale. So they have to gift an item whose value is rupees 30. It has lucky draw every month, giving the first prize as 50,000, second prize as 25,000, third prize as 10,000, and 3 consolation prizes of 5,000 each to the customer buying the product. So again, it's basically a selling and distribution cost. So A, that is the first point, that is free gift, a selling and distribution cost. Again, B part, that is the prices and all. Again, it's a selling and distribution cost. Third, it spends 1 lakh on refreshment served every month to its customer. Again, a selling and distribution cost. It sponsors a television program every week at a cost of 20 lakh per month. Again, a selling and distribution cost. Now, it can market 30% of its output at 550 per unit without incurring any of the expenses referred under A to D above. Prepare a cost sheet for the month showing the total cost and profit at 30% and 100% capacity level. So herein, in this question, we have to prepare the statement of cost at 30% level and at 100% level. So let's start with this question. So see, at 100% level, it is 1 lakh units. So at 30% level, it will be 30,000 units. So let's start now. Now work cost or factory cost. So see, at 30% level, my work cost will be how much? 380 rupees per unit. I repeat again, at 30% cost, at 30% production level, my work cost will be rupees 380 per unit into 30,000 units. So we will get 11 crore, sorry, 1 crore 14 lakh. Now at 100% level, the cost is rupees 310 for 1 lakh units. So 3 crore 10 lakh. So we have the cost of work cost. Now, herein in this question, we need to add all the administration expenses and marketing costs to calculate the cost of sales. So basically, this is, alternatively, we can say it is basically my cost of production. Now we need to add all the expenses. So fixed administration expenses are 1,50,000. If we manufacture 30,000 units also, the cost is going to incur, and it is, if it is 1 lakh unit also, the cost will be same. Now fixed marketing expenses is 2,50,000 per month. Next is variable distribution cost, 30 rupees per unit. So 30 rupees per unit. So 30 into 1 lakh. This will be 30 lakh, and 30 into 30,000. This will be 9 lakh. Now the additional expenses are given. The additional expenses are given. So we will add all the special cost. We will name it as additional cost or special cost. So let's start with the A point. So see, in this case, there will be no additional cost. But if we are manufacturing and selling 1 lakh units, yes, we need to spend something for promotion and selling and distribution. So a gift item, rupees 30 per unit of sale. So gift item is there. Whose value is 30 lakh. Next is a lucky draw per month. Let's prepare a note for lucky draw. So we have to spend the following amount. That is the first prize, 50,000. The second prize is 25,000. The third price is 10,000. And apart from this, few consolation prizes, 5,000 each to customers. So the total cost will be 1 lakh. So this is the ultimate cost to the company for the lucky draw prizes. Now the next cost is for refreshment. They are spending 1 lakh rupees for a month. Apart from this, they have to sponsor a television program every week at a cost of rupees 20 lakh. So this is all what about all the cost. I think I have covered everything in detail and each and every point, I think. So done with the calculation of cost, herein we will get the total cost, or we can say the cost of sales. So we have the final sales value that at 30% the units can be sold at 550 per unit. So 550 into 30,000 units. So this will be 1 crore 65 lakh. In this we have the cost of sales, that is 1 crore 27 lakh. So we will get the profit 38 lakh. Similarly, at 100% level also, so at 100%, all the units can be sold at 500 rupees per unit. So 5 crore and the cost is 3 crore 96 lakh. So it will be 1 crore 4 lakh, my profit. So it's advisable for the company to incur all these additional costs and manufacture and sell full at full 100% capacity. Anyone having any doubts or queries in this part, you guys can please post your queries. Ishwarya C, please check. It is given in the question that the company has the capacity to manufacture full 1 lakh units. So at 30%, it will be 30,000 units. It is given in the question C at factory cost at C. Herein, just read the question carefully. Wherein C at factory cost, it is given that at various level, what will be the cost per unit? So at 10%, it is 400, 20%, it is 390. At 30% level, it is how much? 380. So 380 into 30,000, we will get 1 crore 14 lakh. I hope, Aditya, your query is resolved. Chandan, I'm not getting what you're saying. Aditya, any doubts? I hope this part is clear to you. Aditya? Sales value for 30%. This is what you're asking, Pooja, right? Yes, you have to follow the instructions given in question. Sales value for 30%. So this value, see, it is given in the question. Read the question carefully that it can market 30% of its output at 550 per unit. So 30% output at 30% capacity, the price will be 550 per unit into the number of units, that is 30,000. This is how I got 1 crore 65 lakh. Pooja, I hope your query is resolved. Ishwarya sir, 1 second. You have problem with variable distribution cost. Sir, still I have confusion in variable distribution cost. Sir, can you explain it again? So variable distribution cost. Variable distribution cost, in the question it is given that variable distribution cost is rupees 30 per unit. So it is 30 into 30,000 and 30 into 1 lakh. It is given straight away that variable distribution cost is rupees 30 per unit. Variable cost means the cost that varies according to production. ये वो cost है जो production के हिसाब से vary करता है. So if we are manufacturing more units, that the more will be the cost. If we are manufacturing lesser number of units, the lesser will be the cost. I hope it is clear now. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? Yes, anyone with any doubts or queries? So giving you 2 minutes time to copy the solution, those who want to copy. So Aditya, factory cost, how we got 380? So see, Aditya, read the question. See, Aditya, read the question that at various level, the work cost per unit is given. Herein, if we are working at 10% level, that is, if we are manufacturing only 10,000 units, the cost is 400 per unit. And if we are manufacturing at 20% level, it means if we are manufacturing 20,000 units, the cost will be 390 per unit. And see, at 30% level, if we are manufacturing 30,000 units, the cost will be how much? 380 per unit. So this is how I got 380 units, 380 per unit. 100% sales value. So Harsh cost, see, it is given in the question that at 100% value, we can sell the output for 500 rupees. So 500 into 1 lakh. I hope Harsh Kaur, your query is resolved. It is everything is given in the question straight away. Aditya, hopefully your query is resolved. So let's start with one more question now. We are done with this question. Anyone having any doubts in this question? So fine, let's start with the next question. I request you guys to please open question number 4. We'll be starting with question number 4 now. Practical question number 4. So the following figures are extracted from the trial balance of GK company on 31st March. So the information is given as regards the trial balance. So the trial balance is given for 31st March, wherein inventory, finished stock, raw material, and work in progress is given, that is 80, 140, and 2 lakh. Office appliances, that is an asset. Plant and machinery is an asset. Building is an asset. So these items will not appear in cost sheet because these are assets. Sales is given. Sales return and rebates is given, so it will be deducted from the sales. Material purchased is given, that is 3,20,000. Freight on material is given, that is 16,000, so it will be added to the cost of material. And purchase return is given, so it will be deducted from the cost of material. Direct employee cost, it will be form part of prime cost. Indirect employee cost, it will form part of factory overheads. Factory supervision is given, so it will form part of factory overheads. Repair and factory upkeeping expenses, so it will go under factory overhead. Heat, light and power, factory overheads, rates and taxes, administration overhead, miscellaneous factory expenses, factory overhead, salesman commission, sales commission. It will go under selling and distribution overhead. Sales traveling, again selling and distribution overhead. Sales promotion, again selling and distribution overhead. Distribution expenses, salary and expenses are given. Distribution department salaries and expenses are given. Office salaries and expenses are given. Interest on borrowed fund, very important guys. Interest on borrowed fund, it will form part of cost sheet. Now further details are available as follows, wherein the closing inventory is given, that is finished goods, raw material and work in progress. So in the trial balance, opening stock is given, and in the additional information, the details of the closing stock is given. Further, outstanding expenses are also given. That is for direct employee cost, indirect employee cost, and interest on borrowed funds. Depreciation is to be provided on office appliances, plant and machinery, and building. Further, heat, light, and power, it is to be distributed among factory, office, and distribution in the ratio of 8:1:1. Rate and taxes, 2/3 to the factory and 1/3 to the office. So again, that will be distributed among factory and office in the ratio of 2/3 and 1/3. Depreciation on building to factory, office, and selling in the ratio of 8:1:1. With the help of the above information, you are required to prepare a condensed P&L account, profit and loss statement of GK company for the year ended 31st March, along with the supporting schedules of cost of sales, selling and distribution expenses, and administration expenses. So now let's start with this illustration number 4. So let's start. Borrowed fund, again, it's a liability, so it will not form part of cost sheet. Borrowed fund is a liability and it will never form part of cost sheet. But yes, interest on borrowed fund will form part of cost sheet. The same goes with the depreciation also, wherein when talking about assets will not form part of cost sheet. However, depreciation on assets will form part of cost sheet. Now, interest on borrowed fund, it is to be shown separately while calculating cost of sales. Interest on borrowed fund, it is to be shown separately while calculating cost of sales. So anyways, let's start with the question. Now the question is asking us, to prepare the condensed profit and loss statement along with the supporting schedules of cost of sales, selling and distribution, and administration expenses. So let's start with practical question number 4. So let's start with opening stock of raw material. Opening stock of raw material, it is 1,40,000. In this, we will add so purchase of raw material. So in this, the purchase price we paid. So the purchase price we paid is 3,20,000. Less material returned. Purchase return is given. That is 4,800. In this, we will add freight. Freight paid on purchases, that is 16,000. In this, we will subtract closing stock of raw material, that is 1,80,000. So 1,40,000 is the opening stock, 331200 minus 1,80,000. So this is all what about the raw material consumed. Anyone having any doubts, then you guys can please post. Very good, Shamli. Now in this, we will add direct wages. So see, the information is given as regards direct employee cost, that is 1,60,000. In this, we will add direct wages. So see, information is given in the question, that is direct employee cost is 1,60,000. And see, the outstanding expenses are also given, wherein outstanding expenses are direct employee cost 8,000. So outstanding expenses will be added. So 1,60,000 is my direct labor cost. In this, we will add outstanding labor cost, that is 8,000. So one of the student raised the query that, sir, if outstanding expenses are given, so outstanding expenses will be given if there is a trial balance in question. So this is the way you have to deal with it. So now we are done with these two items. So we will get the prime cost since no information is given in the question as regards direct expenses. So we can directly calculate the prime cost. And that will be 291,200 plus 1,68,000. So this will be 4 lakh. Let me check 1 second. Very good, Meenu. Very good, Pooja. Very good, Ishwarya. Now let's proceed further with all the factory overheads. So see, information is given as regards factory overheads also, wherein the indirect employee cost is given. that is 18,000, and outstanding expenses are also given as regards indirect employee cost, that is 1,200. So indirect employee cost will be 18,000 plus 1,200. $19,200. The next point is factory supervision. So it will be 10,000. Factory supervision will be 10,000. Repairs and factory upkeep expenses. Again, it will go under factory overheads. So repairs and factory upkeep expenses are 14,000. Next is heat, light, and power. It is 65,000. However, it is to be distributed in the ratio of 8:1:1 among factory, office, and distribution. Heat, light, and power. So the total amount is given in the question, that is 65,000 into 8 divided by 10. 8:1:1 means 8 by 10, 1 by 10, and 1 by 10. So this will be 52,000. Now rates and taxes is also given, that is 6,300, and it is to be distributed among factory and office. So it is given in the question that rate and taxes 2/3 to the factory and 1/3 to the office. So 2/3 goes to the factory. So it is 6,300. So this will be 4,200. Now miscellaneous factory expenses are 18,700. Again, it will go under factory overheads only. Now, salesman commission has nothing to do with factory, and all the remaining item has nothing to do with factory. Now, see, depreciation, very important is the depreciation. So, when talking about depreciation, office appliances, it is 5%. Now, plant and machinery, it is 10%. So, the depreciation on plant and machinery will go to the factory overheads only. So, 460,500 into 10%. Four six zero into 460,500 into 10%. Further, office appliances will go under office and administration overhead, but building, see, it is 4%. However, it is given that depreciation is also to be allocated. Depreciation on building is to be allocated in the ratio of 8:1:1. So depreciation on building is 4%. So it is 2 lakh into 4% into 8 by 10. So 2 lakh into 4% into 8 by 10. So it comes to 6,400. Anyone having any doubts till now, you guys can please post herein. This question is bit on the lengthier side herein. You have to identify that what all will go under factory, office, and selling and distribution. So anyone having any doubts? See, the value of building is 2 lakh. So 2 lakh into 4% into 8 by 10. So it will be 6,400. So let's calculate the total now. So we will get the gross factory oblique work cost. Anyone having any doubts till now? You guys can please post. Let me check if there are any queries. Very good, Pooja. Meenu, read the question, please. I have discussed few questions from study material, so you can check the recorded lecture, Medha. No new concepts, it's only the practice question, that's it. So no need to worry, and please take care of yourself. That's okay. Very good, Prajyot. Very good, Aditya. So in this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing work in progress. Add opening work in progress and subtract closing work in progress. Again, the presentation is the key, guys. So details are given for opening and closing work in progress. So for opening work in progress, it is 2 lakh. And for closing work in progress, it is 1,92,000. So we'll get the factory cost. So we are done with the calculation of factory cost or work cost. Now again, few items: quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production, primary packing cost, and we will subtract credit for recoveries. So let's check any information is given in the question or not. So see guys, no information is given in the question as regards these items. So basically this item, this figure what we are getting is what? My cost of production. So this is what my cost of production. So we have the cost of production, that is 637750. In this, we will make adjustments of opening and closing stock of finished goods. So closing stock we have is 1,15,000. And let's check the opening stock also. So my opening stock of finished goods is 80,000. So we will get cost of goods that are sold. In this, we will add all the administration overhead and selling and distribution overheads. See, the question is asking us to prepare the schedule separately for selling and distribution expenses and administration expenses. So after putting these two figures, we will get the final figure, that is cost of sales. Apart from this, one more point, very important point: interest on borrowed funds. So after adjusting all these items, we will get the final figure, that is cost of sales. So let's start with the preparation of schedule for So let's start with administration expenses now. So it will start from rates and taxes, heat and power, then rates and expenses, heat, light and power. The total amount of heat, light and power, it is 65,000 into 1 by 10. So this will be 6,500. Thereafter, rates and taxes. When talking about rates and taxes, it is given in the question that rates and taxes 2/3 goes to factory and 1/3 goes to office. So 1/3 will go to office. So 6,300 into 1 by 3. So this will be 2,100. Thereafter, the office salary and expenses. That is 8,600. Now depreciation on building. So the value of building is 2 lakh into 4% into 1 by 10. So 2 lakh into 4% divided by 10. So this will be 800. Next is depreciation on office appliances. Depreciation on office appliances 17,400 into 5%. So this will be 870. I think everything is covered. Very good, everyone. So herein we will get the total administration expenses. Let's call it as first schedule. So schedule first. So this is how the administration expenses schedule is to be prepared. Now second schedule will be so similarly we have to prepare the second schedule for selling and distribution expenses. So I request you guys to prepare selling and distribution expenses schedule on your own and give me a break of few minutes because I think selling and distribution calculation is straight away. So guys, I request you to prepare the selling and distribution schedule on your own. So it's a break for me, not for you guys. And then we will put up the final figure and we will calculate the cost of sales. So let's take a break for a few minutes. I'll be back after a few minutes and thereafter we will discuss one more question after this. So admin sir, admin sir. Admin sir? Admin sir, are you there? Anyways, guys, so let's take a break of 15 minutes. I'll be back after 15 minutes. In the meanwhile, I request you guys to please prepare selling and distribution expenses schedule and then put up the final figure, put the value of interest on borrowed funds and calculate the cost of sales. So let's take a break of 15 minutes. Admin sir, are you there? Admin sir? Actually, I was on a break. आपने ब्रेक डाला था? चलेगा, no worries. So, welcome back, my friends. I think many students posted their answer, and I think all the answers are correct. So, when talking about administration, selling and distribution expenses, the total overheads are 92,400. So, the selling and distribution overheads are 92,400. Very important, the last one is the interest on borrowed funds. So, as per the revised cost sheet schedule, so interest on borrowed funds will form part of cost sheet. So, let's check how much are the interest on borrowed funds. So, it is 2,000 are interest on borrowed funds, and the outstanding amount, outstanding amount is 2,000, and the interest on borrowed funds are also 2,000. So, 2,000 plus 2,000, that is 4,000. So my cost of sales will be 718020. So this will be my cost of sales. And while preparing the statement of profit, very simple, sales minus sales return, the net amount minus cost of sales will be my profit. So this is the way you guys have to solve the question. Anyone having any doubts or queries, you guys can please post, else we will start with the next question. Very good, everyone. Ishwarya, see, 2,000 is my interest cost and 2,000 is my outstanding interest expenses. So let's proceed further with the next question. I'll be discussing this verbally only. I request you guys to open illustration number 3, page number 6.14 of the study material. I request you guys to open illustration number 3, page number 6.14 of the study material. So let's start with this question. See, these types of questions are just for revision. Examiner never asks these types of questions because the question is very lengthy. And if you will try to solve this question in exams, it will take approx 40 to 45 minutes because there are so many items you have to write in the notebook. So this question is for revision purpose only. So let's start with this question. Arnav Ispat Udyog Limited has the following expenditure for the year ended 31st March 2023, wherein raw material purchase 10 lakh. So this raw material purchase 10 lakh will form part of prime cost. Next is GST paid on above 18% eligible for input tax credit. So herein we are paying a GST of 1 crore 80 lakh. However, the input tax credit is also available of rupees 1 crore 80 lakh. So पहले add करके deduct करने की बजाय better ignored it. So herein this GST will be ignored. Next is freight inward. So freight inward, as I said, it will be added to the cost of purchase. One second. So Meenu, sorry guys, there is a query from Meenu. Both the approaches are correct, but the better approach is this one only. So you have to follow this approach only, wherein interest on borrowed funds will form part of cost sheet. So now let's proceed further. Wages paid to factory workers. It will form part of prime cost. Contribution made towards employee provident fund and ESIS. So very important, as I discussed while discussing the concept, that any sort of benefit, be it monetary or non-monetary, provided to the workers will be added to the cost of wages. So see, contribution made towards employee provident fund, it will be added to the cost of direct wages. Production bonus paid to factory workers, again, it will be added to the cost of wages. So it will form part of prime cost. Royalty paid for production. Royalty paid for production, it will form part of direct expenses. Amount paid for power and fuel. Amount paid for power and fuel, again, it's a direct expenses and it will form part of prime cost. Next is amount paid for purchase of molds and patterns, 8,96,000, and their life of molds and pattern, it is 8 lakh, life is 2 years. So 8,96,000 divided by 2 years. So 4,48,000 will form part of cost sheet. Anyone having any doubts in this part? So herein, the useful life is 2 years. So the total cost divided by 2. So 4,48,000 will form part of cost sheet in this year, and 4,48,000 will form part of cost sheet in the subsequent year. Now, job charges paid to job workers. Job charges paid to job worker, again, it's a direct expenses and it will form part of prime cost. So royalty, power and fuel, amortization of molds and pattern, job charges, all will form part of prime cost and they are direct expenses. Now, next is stores and spares consumed 1,12,000. It will form part of factory overheads. Stores and spares consumed, it will form part of factory overheads. Now, next point, depreciation on factory building, it will go under factory overheads. Depreciation on plant and machinery, it will go under factory overheads. Depreciation on delivery vehicles, it will go under selling and distribution cost. So delivery vehicles are meant to supply the goods to the customers or to the warehouse. So it will form part of selling and distribution cost. Salary paid to supervisor, it will form part of factory overheads. Next is repairs and maintenance for plant and machinery. So if it is repairs and maintenance of plant and machinery, so plant and machinery is located in factory. So that's why it will go under factory overheads. Sales office building. So repairs and maintenance on sales office building, it will go under selling and distribution overheads. Vehicles used by directors. So generally the directors sit in office and the vehicles used by them and the depreciation on that vehicle, it will go under office and administration overhead. Now, insurance premium paid for plant and machinery. So plant and machinery insurance premium will go under factory overheads. For factory building, again, it will go under factory overheads. And for stock of raw material and work in progress, also it will go under factory overheads. Now, expenses paid for quality control check activities. So the name itself is clear that expenses paid for quality control check activities. So it will go under quality control cost. Research and development cost paid for improvement in production process. The name itself says research and development cost. So again, it will go under research and development cost and it will form part of cost of production. Expenses paid for pollution control, engineering and maintenance. So this will go under factory overheads because see, It will not form part of quality control also in research and development. So sometimes at this point is there are few points which are a bit confusing. So if it is directly or indirectly related to production, then better to place it under factory overheads only. So very important, guys, expenses paid for pollution control and engineering and maintenance, it will go under factory overhead. Now next point, expenses paid for administration of factory. Expenses paid for administration of factory. So these expenses will go under administration overhead related to production. So few items: quality control cost, research and development cost, administration overhead related to production. The third item. So in this third item, basically the expenses paid for administration of factory will go. Now salary paid to functional manager. The first one is the production control manager. Again, very important. Salary paid to production control manager. It will go under administration overhead related to production. Therefore, it will form part of cost of production. Then finance and account. It is simple administration overhead. Sales and marketing, selling and distribution cost. Salary paid to general manager. Salary paid to general manager, it will go under office and administration overhead. Next is packing cost. So primary packing cost, very important, it will form part of cost of production. And for redistribution of finished goods, it will form part of selling and distribution cost. Now next point is interest and finance charges for uses of non-equity fund. So this interest and finance charges for non-equity fund, it is to be placed at last. That is after administration, selling and distribution overhead. The last point we will place is interest on borrowed fund. So again, it will form part of cost of sales. Let me check if there are any queries. No. So interest and finance charges paid for uses of non-equity fund, it will be shown separately in cost sheet as the last item, and thereafter we will calculate the cost of sales. Now fee paid to auditors. Fee paid to auditors, it will form part of office and administration cost. Fee paid to legal advisor, again it will form part of office and administration overhead. Fee paid to independent director, again it will form part of office and administration overhead. Next is performance bonus paid to sales staff. So again, the name itself says sales staff. So it will go under selling and distribution cost. Value of opening stock and closing stock is given in the question. So raw material, it will form part of raw material consumed. Work in progress, we have to make adjustment in gross factory or work cost to calculate the factory cost or work cost, and finished goods to calculate the cost of goods sold. Now, last point, amount realized by selling of scrap and waste generated during the manufacturing process. So as I discussed while discussing the concept, as I mentioned while discussing the concepts also, two types. If the raw material is scrapped, we need to subtract it from the purchase price. But if any byproduct is generated, and any amount is realized on sale of that byproduct, it will be considered, it will be deducted while calculating cost of production. So you are required to prepare the statement of cost showing separately basically the prime cost, factory cost, cost of production, cost of goods sold, and cost of sales. So I think you guys are thorough with cost sheet. Still, anyone having any doubts or queries in this question, or any conceptual queries, or any query related to any item, that where that item will be placed, you guys can put up the query. I'm done with this chapter. Again, it's one of the easiest chapter of the syllabus. The next chapter we will be starting, in fact, I will be starting, is process costing. So somewhat bit trickier than the chapters we have discussed till now, that is ABC cost sheet. So process costing covers variety of concepts, and there are few questions which are a bit on the trickier side. So those who are watching over YouTube or via any other media, do try to join over Zoom so you can raise your queries, because again, these classes are conducted by ICAI for your benefit only. And trust me, if you will post your queries, and I mean, if you have any queries, then do post your queries. So I'll try my best to address all your queries. Instead of being a silent listener, join over Zoom, post your queries. I mean, the more you will ask, the better you will be with the concepts. Because I know that एक बार में किसी को कुछ समझ में नहीं आता when you are reading the chapter for the first time. So it will take time. So better, whatever running in your mind, do post your queries from the coming chapter. I'll be taking few more chapters, that is process costing, service costing, marginal costing, standard costing, wherein I'll be putting up many questions in front of you. See, the format part is all over. Activity-based costing also was very easy, wherein you have to memorize the steps and solve the question. The same goes with the cost sheet also. But yes, from process costing and onwards, the few tricky questions I'm going to ask you in the live session. So try to join over Zoom. There are many students who are watching over YouTube and other media. So try to join over Zoom, and whatever the queries you have, post your queries, and make sure by the end of this session, you are thorough with all the concepts. Anyways, I request you guys to post your queries on cost sheet. I'm done with the explanation on cost sheet. Hina Kumari, at that point also, wherein herein will be deducting while calculating the cost of production, Hina. Okay, so I'll just speak to the concerned person, Mustafa. I think you have doubt in ABC costing practical question number 3 and 4. I don't get how to start. No worries. So I'll just speak to the concerned person and I'll get your mail. Don't worry. Just give me a day's time. Charges paid to expert on production process is a prime cost. Yes, it will form part of direct expenses. It will form part of direct expenses. Kuldeep. Anyone else with any other queries? Yes. Anyone? I hope you guys are thorough with the concept. The chapter is very easy. Sir, in practical question number 1, value of material purchase explain, sir. So let me check practical question number 1. So it's basically the reverse calculation. See, the books of others manufacturing company presents the following data for the month of April, wherein direct labor cost is given, factory overheads are given, that is 175 direct labor cost is 17,500, being 175% of the work overhead. So work overhead will be 10,000. Cost of goods sold excluding administration expenses is 56,000. So cost of goods sold आपको given है, opening closing work in progress given है, everything is given in the question. You have to go with the reverse calculation. That is, let's say if we have this figure, that is gross factory cost. If we will deduct all these items, we will get the prime cost. In prime cost, we will deduct the direct wages, we will get the raw material consumed. In raw material consumed, if we add closing stock and if we subtract opening stock, we will get the raw material purchased. So what you have to do the reverse calculation. Once you calculate the prime cost, in this you have to deduct what? The direct wages. After deducting the direct wages, you will get raw material consumed. In raw material consumed, you have to add, see, reverse calculation. Here we are subtracting closing stock. So in raw material consumed, if we add 180 and subtract 140, we will get this figure. So this is the way to solve the question. I hope it is clear, Harsh. Again, see, don't try to create any sort of, okay, this is a case study. Again, case study also examiner do ask from the study material only. So the point is stick to the concepts, practice as many as questions as you can. trust me, the case studies are much more easier than the regular question. So case study में इतना ज़्यादा scope नहीं रहता. So when talking about at CA inter level, the case studies are comparatively easier than the practical question. So the point is, if you are thorough with the concepts, you can solve any questions on case studies. Even you guys can try this. The question, there is one case study that is given in the material. Try to solve it. You can easily solve this orally or with on calculator only. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So see guys, the key is stick to the format, memorize the format, stick to the concepts, and try to solve all the questions of study material. Apart from study material, again, you can't refer practice manual, because in practice manual, the old practice manual, the questions are not as per the new format, but are as per the old format. So in this chapter specifically, no need to refer practice manual, but yes, variety of questions are available in the MTPs, RTPs, or we can say the past examination question. You'll find 8 to 10 questions. So if this much you can solve, then that is more than sufficient for cost sheet. I mean, rest, there is no rocket science in costing the cost sheet that examiner can twist and turn. Yes, try to solve one or two good questions are there in the past examination, past papers. So refer those questions. Else, I mean, there is no rocket science in cost sheet. So I'm done with it. Anyone else with any doubts or queries? So, okay. Yes, Hina, any doubts? Ishwarya, any doubts? Medha, I hope you are thorough with the concepts now. If anyone want to speak also can raise their hand. If anyone want to speak to me also, you can raise their hand. I'll tell the admin sir to unmute you. So fine, guys. Thank you so much for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. 1 second, let me check there is any query. No worries, Medha. Please take care of yourself. And if anything is there, just write a mail. I'll be addressing your query. So thank you so much, guys, for your time and patience and for active participation in the session. I think there is a long break for me now because I'll be starting with process costing directly. So I request you guys to join process costing on time. It's a very good and an interesting chapter and bit on the lengthier side as compared to the chapters what we have discussed. So be prepared and see you guys in process costing. Till then, take care of yourself. God bless you and solve as many as possible questions in writing in the meanwhile. Thank you so much.